Hello everyone, welcome in. This is Syafire. How is it going? And we are going to be doing a basic tutorial for VUP. I'm going to show you some things, basically how I got what you just saw at the beginning of the video set up in your VUP, and then this way you could start using these techniques for your YouTube channel as well as your live stream. Without further ado, let's hop straight into it. Did you see what I did there? I said hop straight into it because I'm wearing a bunny hat. Ah, I'm so funny. Thank you, thank you. Oh, my violin is in my face. I can wash your windows for you. I can wash your windows for you. Okay, I am so sorry. We are getting started right now. Mega distractions. We are ready. We're going. So we are going to start from the very beginning. If you are interested in what VUP has to offer before getting into this full tutorial, you can click above on the card. I have a video explaining a little bit about what it does and what this program could be used for. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is go to the store in Steam and you're going to want to look up VUP. It is a free program, which is awesome. So here it is. You can go ahead and click download, and I will drop this in the description down below as well. So go ahead and download that. Once you have it downloaded, you're going to launch it. So I have mine launched ready. You can make a specific account. Personally, I didn't really want to do that, so I just used my Steam, my other login, used my Steam account. An important thing to note is that you're going to get two different screens here. You're going to get a display screen, which is where your avatar is living in the 3D world, and then you're going to get this whole settings and control sort of panel on VUP. So both of these are going to be extremely important to this tutorial. We're going to start with how to upload your VRM model into VUP. So a VRM model is if you made your model in VRoid Studio. Again, I will link that down below. And also I have a lot of helpful videos to help you get started with making a character in VRoid Studio. So what you're going to do is go to this character tab up here, and you're going to click add model. Go ahead and click that. Click here to import, and then go ahead and find your VRM model. And I actually have a new model, so I'm going to import that one in. So here's my VRM. I'm going to click that, click open. It should import in. It's going to come up with this little pop-up of different avatar settings and stuff that you can change. This is not going to be important in this tutorial because we are going to cover a lot of stuff, but this is not one of them. This one right here is default behavior. This would be if you wanted to change your animation. So if you knew how to animate or anything in Blender, you could change your running animation or walking animation to something else if you wanted. So you could go in and add it. But again, we're not going to worry about this for now. That is a whole nother layer of stuff. We're just going to go with the basics. So I'm going to click save. Okay. And then you're going to click this button down here, determine. It's going to bring your model in, so look for the name. Mine is 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐼𝐻. What you're going to do is go ahead and click this little cloud upload button. This might take a few moments. And by a few moments, I mean a lot of moments. Yay! Lots of moments later. Here we are. Okay, this is it right here. It'll say upload complete. 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐼𝐻. Alright, I'm going to double click on this. If for some reason you figured out that you wanted to add animations or go back to the menus we saw earlier when we first uploaded, you could get there by clicking this for the face stuff and then this for the animations right here. So again, we don't really need those, so I'm going to go ahead and close those. So once you double click that, it should have your avatar loaded up in the display section. So if you don't know how to move this display section, you use scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You hold down Alt key for Windows users, and you can move left and right, and then Alt right click to pan around. So that's those controls. All right, so next we are going to go over to this section called broadcast. So it's going to show a default model here when you turn on the webcam. It is not your model, it's fine. It shows something else, but it's still going to be your model. So camera face cap, go ahead and click that on. Choose the webcam that you're using here. You can choose any webcam that's attached to your PC. A lot of people ask questions, if my camera is already implemented to my PC, can I use it? You should be able to. It should be in these options, so go ahead and look for that. And phone camera capture, I looked a little bit into this, still have not been able to figure it out, but if I do, I will definitely keep you guys updated. Anyways, all these settings over here, I've played with them. I didn't notice much of a difference. You could try them out if you want, but I don't think it's important, so if you could probably just ignore those for now. Head rotation you want on, so I turned that one on, and then upper body rotation, if you have a full body, I would turn on as well to get the maximum movement potential. By the way, if your camera face cap is turning on but it's not registering, go ahead and unplug your webcam and plug it back in. Usually that should solve that issue. Okay, so next we are going to go into body capture. I'm going to explain a little bit about this. We're not going to do this in this video, but if you have a leap motion, there is an option to turn your leap motion on there. You can also use if you have a Vive or a Connect, there's lots of different options here. I don't actually know what all these different systems are, so that's going to be something fun to look and do later. But if you're interested in any of these things, I'd say go ahead and go use some good old Mother Google, you know, look to Mother Google. But again, we will not be covering this in this particular video. So next we're going to go to broadcast over here. This is essentially where you can get your overlay if you want to just have your character laying on top. I'm holding down just my mouse button to move her around, but if you want the actual orientation to flip, you're still going to have to do it in this display window. So that's if you can turn on pendulum if you want them to be just on top like that. But for now, we'll revisit that at the end of this video. Next, you can go into broadcast plan here. This is where you can sort of save your progress so you don't have to restart every time. So I'm going to say 𝐒𝐮 main, applying 𝐒𝐮 main. So go ahead and click that, make sure it's turned on. We are good to go. Another thing that you have is if you need to reset cam, you can do that down there. Also, if you are in your broadcast on your face capture and it looks like your character's looking down a bit too much, your camera might be tilted down too far. So make sure you adjust your camera to be tilted up a little bit more and that should work. Another thing I would turn on is lower body sway as well. I like this option turned on when messing around with stuff. Next, we're gonna go back to character and we are going to set up our face expression. So go ahead and go to the emoji tab. Now with the emoji tab, these face expressions, the reason they don't work is because I am quite positive that they are linked only to the default model that spawned in. So these are actually only saved for the model that's already in here. So if you go ahead and click one of these, it's not going to work. And the reason is because your avatar doesn't necessarily have these 𝐒𝐻𝐫𝐿. You don't have this face expression. You don't have any of these things that you might need. Some of them you do, but not all of them. What we're going to need to do is we're going to have to make our own from scratch. The way to do that is go ahead and click add expression up here. You can name your expression. I'm just going to try a happy expression. Transition, if you want it to take a while to transition, you can change that. If I wanted this expression to be a specific thing, I can click generate and it should capture where my face expression was. So as you can see, those bars moved up because I clicked generate. So if I wanted to like squint a little bit and do like a weird like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? We could generate that and that should be saved in there now. Eyebrow, mouth, and mask. Again, I think this is depending on your model that you upload in, but you'll mostly be editing from the face expressions that you get from the face expressions that you get from VRoid Studio itself from your model. So you're gonna have to be playing around with these specific ones. So again, you can watch your live display as you are moving these around, and you should be able to see what's going on. So again, I can have this. Let's just call this 𝐿𝐻𝐫𝐿. I'm gonna go ahead and click save. So now I have a 𝐿𝐻𝐫𝐿, and this is the problem with certain, depending on your avatar, when I blink, my eyelashes like go into my face. So you do want to be cautious of stuff like that. It happens, it's up to you if you want to deal with it or not, but it will stay on there if I'm double clicked on it. So there's my happy, there's my like closed zen, there's an angry one that I have. You're gonna have to set these up via key shortcuts. So it kind of is a little frustrating because if you're typing randomly, it might flip through your face expression, so that I would say is one downside of VUP, but go ahead and do a key combo. I'm just going to do GH because why not? And let's try flipping between some. So you do not need, the good thing is you do not need to be clicked in your display window for the expression to change and register. So I could be on VUP or on another program, and basically what you do is you can go AQ, and there we go. Look, now I'm happy and I can go GH. Now I have the Zen, and if I want to do my angry, I actually don't have one for it. I'm just going to do YU. So I'll do YU. YU, there we go. YU, AQ, GH. So there we go. You can rotate through expressions. So go ahead and create a list of expressions for yourself. Again, you're just going to mess around with those bars. And if you need to edit and fix them, you can just click this little pencil icon, go back in there and edit them. Next, we are going to set up your actions. So the nice thing about this is most of these actions actually do work with your character. You can go ahead and click on any of these and you can see what they do. I really like this wave one. You've seen me use this in my last 2 videos. Yeah, so there's a lot of different options here, which is a lot more than 3teen. For those who have used 3teen, that's another option that you can use for streaming your avatar out. VUP is one, 3teen is one, and I am also thinking about doing a video in the future talking about the differences between the programs you can use and what you might want to use them for. This does give you a lot more options, which is what I really like about VUP. There's a lot more action options for you to use. And again, you will have to set up shortcuts, and you cannot use the same combo shortcuts, unfortunately. So you cannot combine your animation plus your face expression, which sucks. I tried it, does not work, but I'm going to just go TR for this one, and then you're going to see again that I can click TR. So I'm clicking TR right now, TR, and she is doing that animation. So that's something you can do. Another really cool thing is there's ones here. There's lots of different options here. We even have a chair sitting one, which is pretty cool. There's literally even like, there's a push-up. There's a lot of... Oh my gosh, that is so sad. I would highly recommend also setting up a hotkey to your basic, just the default, because your character might get stuck in an animation or something. So I'm just gonna do QW for that to bring myself back if I absolutely have to. Again, there's a lot of options here. There's dances, you can upload custom. Is she twerking? Don't know. I have literally no idea. Great part about this is you can add an action and you can import your own. So again, if you know how to use Blender and you want to do a custom animation, this is a perfect way to do that. You can import, and maybe if you find some online, you can import those animations as well. So many options here, and the next thing I want to talk about is the anime or anim group. So what you can do is you can actually create a group of animations together. So you can go ahead and choose a few different ones and have them sort of sequence through each other. So I'm gonna just call this testing one or test one, create animate group, and then you can go ahead and click play. So again, if you're recording a YouTube video and you want to set together a certain set of stances based on what you're saying, then you can click play there. And then you have your own little custom thing. Oh my, she's rocking it, dude. Yo, let's go, Saya. Go. But yeah, and so you have these different animation groups that you can go through. And again, if you need to get back to your animation tab, you just click up there. You can create as many groups as you want. And again, use those as sequences, which is pretty freaking cool. Also, if you want to combine anything, check out my Stream Deck tutorial. I'm going to drop a card for that up above. If you have a Stream Deck, it unlocks so much potential to be able to combo expressions and multiple things going on at once. I use that for 3teen. It's not for VUP, but the concept is there. So if you want to sort of learn how that concept works and then apply it to VUP, that would be a perfect way to do that. Next, we're going to go into the props section. So look, there's the bunny hat. Bunny hat! What you're going to want to do here is you have some default ones that are set up. I love this, by the way. We started a whole meme in our Discord called the Sunglasses God Cult, and it was a role that people could only get if they put sunglasses on their avatar for 24 hours. So now there are people in the Discord who have this ultimate power and potential that they have unlocked for themselves for forever, I guess. So what you can do here is you can add a plan. You click add plan up there and add a prop. So there are a bunch of default things in here, and the really great part about this is it will stay according to the orientation of your head. So if you need to edit the prop, first off, you can choose where you want it to start. So if you want her to be like holding it or something, this is your drop down for that. I'm just going to keep it by head. And what you're going to do is you're going to have to click these little target icons to move stuff at once. So the offset is only the move tool. So you can move it by clicking the offset, and then you click back in here, and it needs to be highlighted blue. So if it's not moving, make sure it's highlighted blue. If you want to rotate it, you're going to go ahead and click the little icon here for rotation, and you can rotate it at the angle you want. I'm going to go back to offsets because I just want to move it up slightly more. You can go ahead and scale it as well. So wow, we missed the whole back of my head. So again, this could be really great for different festive things and adding on props yourself. Again, if you want to use something like Blender and create an asset or create a hat or create a prop, now you can bring it straight into your avatar through this program itself. So you don't have to keep going on and editing your avatar. Again, this helps so much because then you don't have to keep going back in and adding the actual object to your character. This is super duper helpful, saves a ton of time there. If you want to add your own custom one like I just talked about, we can go ahead and click add props, click here to import, and you can import your prop. There's also some like really nice sort of like 2D looking stuff. So again, depending on the sort of look you're going for, you can create different props in something like Blender or Maya to add to your avatar. Again, look at this. You can add clothes and accessories on very simply without having to go in. Again, it is locked to the position of the tilt. So this means that you'll add it on and although I guess with this, it's kind of not that great because now it's clipping, but you get the idea at least to be able to sort of start something out like that. Great. So then if you want to save it, you can test it, you can name it whatever you want, save, and now we got this prop in here. So it should save its location and what we added at that time. So again, also the nice thing about it is you add a plan. So if you want to have multiple things at once, like we just did the Santa hat and the little tie, then once you save it, it's going to save out that whole set. So it's not just going to be the Santa hat, it's going to be everything that I added during that time. So now we've got both. Next, we're going to move into pose. So pose is another good one if you were going to take screenshots, or maybe you want to do like a fashion show of your VTuber or something like that. The only downside of the poses is that it's really not great to just do because there's no animation and fluidity or movement into it. But again, it might be really good for taking screenshots for thumbnails for YouTube videos, or screenshots for something else, for maybe a piece of art you're doing with your VTuber, promotional material. So again, I would highly recommend using this system for that. So I made one already. It wasn't like a super complex pose. I was just messing around with it to see how it works. But what you're gonna do if you want to to do something like this is go ahead and click add pose. You're going to do, again, you can import from animation a specific one, or you can do custom pose. So you click on this, you'll be able to control the position of that specific area. So again, we have like upper leg here. You want to tilt it back a bit, and then you can do a middle. You can maybe do like, whoops, a little, oh my, we are contortioning. You can do sort of a little kick out that way. Again, this could be another really strong tool actually to use if you want to, if you are an artist and you want to draw your model. You can go ahead and use this, import your model and pose them a specific way, and then use that as a reference photo to draw your character. So again, super duper helpful if you're having trouble with particular perspectives or something like that. Like if I wanted to do something down here, now I can pose my character however I want and then use that in my art as well. So for the hands, they have their own tab because it can get pretty complicated here. The main thing you're going to want to do is sort of just click on the different dots and go ahead and bend those different areas. You're going to have to go through. Again, I would highly recommend using references if you're going to do something like the peace sign or fist, because it could be really helpful to see the placement of those. I don't know why my eyes keep looking over there. It could really help. Why am I looking over? There's nothing over. I have no idea. It's going to be really helpful to look at references to go ahead and help you out with your pose. And then you got right hand as well. So again, that's really all you need to know. Create pose. We're just going to call this test pose. Then we're going to click save. You can attach a hotkey to it. So for AZ, I have this pose. Very good for reference photos if you want to make your own art or promotional material for your VTubing channel or thumbnails or something like that. And then you could just take a screenshot and bring it into your desired editing program. So we're going to hop over into shortcut keys. I'm just going to explain this, not go too into it. This is where you can go in and edit your shortcut keys if you needed to. It sort of keeps track of everything that you have shortcutted out. You can also turn your shortcut listening on and off. So basically, if you start to use a shortcut, you want this on, but if you decide you don't want your avatar to be reacting to literally everything, but you still want to use this program, you can go ahead and check that off. So it is not recording, it is not looking for you pressing AQ, AW, whatever the case may be. Next, we're going to go into scene and talk a little bit about scene. So these are some scenes that are imported regularly. Again, you could import your own world, your own scene if you made one. I'm just going to be using ones that are in here for this tutorial. So you obviously, if you want to add a scene, it's the same type of mechanic. You click add scene and then you import, but I'm just going to go ahead and click this nighttime bedroom for now. So now you have your scene up, and again, you can just double click on it to switch with anything. It's so cute. It's so festive. Wow, it is definitely not Christmas. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and my sins. When you go into some of these scenes, some of them will start with music. If you don't want the music playing, go into your light setting. I have no idea why audio settings would be in light settings, but you know, game dev logic. Go ahead and turn down your audio volume all the way, or you could click that off button. Totally up to you. This is our scene. This is a public scene. If you upload your own, you can make it public, you can make it private, up to you. So real scene is, there's my face, LOL. I dyed my hair recently. Please ignore my grossness. Yeah, so this is your real camera if you wanted it on or wanted to look at your real-time scene. I don't really see a huge point for this. Light settings. Light adjust is great because no matter what scene you're in, you can adjust the intensity of the lighting. This kind of makes it look super 2D. Focal length is where you kind of want it to be focused in. Light angle, where do you want the sun in the room? Do you want it behind, in front, to the left? So again, you can just play with all these settings. Make sure you click these on buttons. So color grading I want on. Look at how anime aesthetic and like there's just so much, like there's so much aesthetic you can do here to take pictures for stuff. I really love it. Saturation, contrast. You've got many options. You can mess with all these different things. Depth of field I think is actually really cool because it gives this really very cinematic look. Again, very good for recording YouTube videos if you want to do certain content with your VTuber in a 3D world. Ambient lighting always does some really interesting stuff. You can say, hello darkness, my old friend. Okay, we're done with that. Radius of the ambient occlusion. Bloom is one of my favorite like anime aesthetic things. We are just slapping stuff more and more on now. Oh my softeny. See, we've got stuff for days here. But yeah, again, you have all these different options then, and just look at how much of a realistic sort of 3D scene that we've got with this program. This is why I love this program. Again, it's not perfect. It might not be the best for live streaming, but it's really going to set you up for potential with YouTube because again, you can customize scenes and all this different stuff to make your videos just more fun and like more interactive as a VTuber. Fast located. I'm not 100% sure what this does, but I guess we'll see. Replace entrance. I think this might be how it loads in when you open back up your VUP, but I am not 100% sure. And Playroom, I think this is a potential for if you want to have multiple VTubers in the same world. I am not sure though. Do not hold my word to that because I'm not sure. It's only a guess because I have not messed with it before. Last but not least, we're going to talk about our different camera settings. So again, this is what you saw at the beginning of the video. So there are some default ones that come in that you can play and apply. So let's see what this looks like. Again, this could be challenging depending on the map that you're in. If you have body following camera applied, I think it will follow your camera movement. If you went back into actions and had that playing, see how the camera follows your movement here? So now if you're doing a dancing movement, this again could be really cool because then it follows your character around a bit. So body fixation would be, again, a further one where it's sort of fixating on your body if you're doing different things around. So here's one that I made. So again, you can sort of see how it goes in and it sort of turns in your character. So the best way to do stuff like this is honestly just play around with it. I just want to encourage you guys to experiment with stuff and see what works for you. And another thing is if you're ever trying to move your camera around and it's stuck, usually you have to just reapply a camera or change your pose or just do something. I haven't really figured out why it does that sometimes. If I do figure out the solution, I'll tell you guys, but just click things around. Sometimes you have to restart VUP. Please make sure you save your scene. And again, how you do that is you go to broadcast and do add plan. And now it's applying it. And make sure you add the plan after you are done putting together your scene, because what I just actually made the mistake of, which is why you saw my lighting change, was I went back here and I lost literally everything. So make sure you go ahead and save the scene after you put everything together. And we'll talk about it again once more at the end of the video, just in case. Camera, what you're going to do if you want to add any of your own custom cameras, go ahead and click camera there. And normal cam, we're just going to call it hello. I usually use, again, this is dependent if your avatar is moving. Tracking cam, we talked about that, how if you're moving, it'll follow and track with you. Pan is usually something that goes around, and fixed scene would fixate on the scene. Fixed character would fixate on the character. So it depends what you want there. I usually do fixed character right now, and follow position doesn't matter. Motion camera, I usually go to linear motion camera. Rotate, it doesn't always work that well, so I do linear motion camera. And what you can do is say you want to start right here. Okay, I just put my camera in that position. Start position, we'll click generate. We'll automatically record our coordinates and say I want it to end right there. Then we will go ahead and click generate for end position. Then next you are going to remember to name it. Make sure you put in a duration. I'm going to say 3 seconds. Okay, I'm going to click save. I'm going to go back into this one, edit, and I'm going to preview my shot now. So here's the shot preview. And bam, there we go. Another thing you can do is cam transition. These are, you can set up hotkeys, there's already some, or you can make your own. Is a drop down, you can go ahead and check all those different ones out. I'm going to show you an example of cross zoom. So what I do is I will click W before I click the hotkey for my specific scene. I'm going to use my 3. So I'm going to click W. Right now I'm clicking W. You don't see anything happen, but it's applying, so it'll apply in the next camera transition. Now when I click 3, there we go. We had the little transition. You do unfortunately have to click it before you move to that next camera transition, or it will not do it, which again is another kind of an annoying thing, and I think definitely could be done better mechanically, but you know what? We're not complaining. We got a free program that's doing some great work for us. This is when your camera will usually get stuck and you won't be able to move stuff around. So again, this is another thing I haven't found an exact way around yet, and I think it might have to do with fixating on the character. So I just go to a different camera scene that does work where I can move, and I usually will zoom back into my character. So I'd recommend trying to set up a default one. So for example, I have one link to this. So if I go to 3, which is this one, or do W and then 3, go into it, and then I'm going to be locked here. So I cannot move my character, but I'm just going to click 1 to go back to this camera angle, so I have control of my camera again. Once again, I'm not exactly sure why it does that, so just mess around with switching to other cameras if you need to. We're going to use our new camera transition. Oh my gosh, yes, it looks great. We're gonna switch back to 1 and move our room around. Again, super duper awesome potential for so many great things here for YouTube videos and for streaming. The biggest downsides of this program are some of the bugs I mentioned while talking about it, although the devs seem to be caring about this program, because some people have mentioned in the comments on the last video when I introduced what VUP was, that that VUP was not very great a few months ago, and it has gotten a lot of changes and it's a lot better. So it sounds like the devs are working on stuff, and if there's any important updates that I feel like need to be called out, I will definitely make a video on them. But other than this, this is a really great program. Again, there are some downsides, there are some downfalls. One of the biggest downfalls actually that I don't like, which is going to stop me from using this program a lot until they fix it, is the lip sync. As you can see, the lip sync this whole video for me has been actual trash. Just attach it to your audio. As far as I've been looking, it's tracking my mouth directly. So again, that's like a little bit of a downside. You know what? It's okay. One last thing I actually want to talk about too is how we're going to bring this into Streamlabs. So first off, if you have no idea what Streamlabs is or how it works or how to make it running, I have a video, a Streamlabs tutorial that I started, and it is, I will link you to the first part up above. You're going to want to click the plus sign, go to game capture, add source, add new, specific window, and then you have display.exe. So then you'll have a direct input to your display. What I would recommend doing is, if you have multiple monitors, one way you can solve this problem is just by going full screen. So you can go ahead and click on your full screen, and then it should be the full resolution of the monitor and be a regular size. So now I can make that this size. If you do not have any secondary monitor, what I would recommend is, if it needs to stay in small screen or behind other applications, is you can go ahead and make it big, but again, your camera view, it's not going to be the end of the world for your camera view itself, because you can just move around and make sure you're just still staying in frame. An alternative way to do this, if game capture is not working for some reason, you could do something like display capture, add source. Again, if you have a secondary monitor, you can go ahead and add it over there. You can make a big screen, and if you see the display thing up there and it's bothering you, you're going to hold Alt and grab, and you're going to cut that down. So now the display is gone, and maybe make that a little bit bigger to fit your full screen, and there you go. So there are two different ways you can bring it into Streamlabs, and that's how you can stream with your display screen. Now, as for if you don't want this full background, if you weren't doing something like just chatting and you were gaming but you want to use this program, what you're going to do is go into VUP, and you're going to go to the broadcast section, broadcast, and then turn on your pendant. You can turn on pendant, or you can turn on transparent stream. It is up to you. And to get it running in here, we could go ahead and do a plus. We can go ahead and go back to our game capture. We're going to go into settings. We're going to do allow transparent. So once again, now we can move around with our background there. But yeah, that should be a good way to set up. I think you can still do camera movements here as well, so that's pretty interesting. Again, all options here depending on the setup you want. Anyways, I hope, again, I don't know why my eyes are going crazy. I don't know what's going on. Lastly, like I mentioned before, if you've gotten everything set up, make sure you go to broadcast, add plan, name that plan, something actually good. Click it, and it will save that plan for next time you load up your VUP. Please do that, or you are going to be fricked. And for the most part, it should also save the lighting in each scene by default. I think I've noticed that it saves the lighting for you, so you should be okay on those ends. Anyways, thank you guys again so much for joining us. If you have any questions, or if you want to hang out with me live, I stream on twitch.tv/Syafire. We do something really fun every Monday called Motivational Mondays. It's a great place to share your VTuber that you're working on, or share any other kind of art. If you're an artist, if you do music or writing, or even game dev, we just take time to appreciate the community's work and see what everybody is up to. So you can go ahead and join the Discord down below to see what Motivational Mondays is all about and participate. Thank you. I will see you on the next video, and you guys have a lovely rest of your days. Goodbye. I don't even remember what my bye hotkey is. Oh, I got it. We did it. Oh my gosh. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.